From all of your media consumption that you've done with,
Yeah.
Mathis and whatnot, was there ever any mention of like Garrett Nelson being around and maybe potentially, because this is my thought that I have, is I also wonder if Mathis kind of saw Garrett Nelson and was like, this is a dude I would love to play with. Like, he's a hype man and I like being hyped. And so if you and I can be like once again, but a positive feedback loop where you now have two incredibly vocal, respected
Yeah.
leaders. I mean, Mathis is going to have to earn he's going to have to earn his chip. Like he needs to, earn the respect of his defense now. But I think that he's got the ability and the tenacity and the personality that I think that he could be not only a potential, a high potential for productivity on the field, but dang, think about like a vocal leader like Garrett Nelson getting into his guys for good things and for bad things. And then you've got O'Shawn Mathis right behind him or right in front of him, continuing that,
Mm-hmm.
accountability in the locker room, making sure that their guys aren't just disassociating before a game, like getting them engaged and making sure that they are
Yeah.
rocking and rolling and ready to go. That's so. Was there any mention of Garrett Nelson being
No,
involved in any sort of way?
you know what? I don't recall. Mostly because I've been so far behind on podcasts. I ended up deleting about 10 Husker podcasts before the Mathis commitment because I knew I wasn't going to get to him. And once he
Yeah.
committed, then I kind of went and stuck with the podcasts that were up to a day or two before he actually committed. And I'm still trying to get caught up. It's just the way things
Yeah.
have been. Uh, but I would not be surprised in any way, shape, or form if Mathis and Garrett did not have a sit down and said, "Yo, you need to come here. This coach is going to get you playing with your damn ass on fire, and you want to go to the league. This is where you come to go to the league." I mean,
We
Tuioti
just
put
proved
a
it.
couple of dudes. Tuioti just put a couple of dudes. You got Damian Daniels and Stilly both signed free agent deals, undrafted free agent deals. JoJo signed one with Indianapolis. You had three dudes. Did you see Toure getting freaking drafted? I didn't. I saw JoJo getting drafted before Toure did. Um, but, we had three dudes picked for the first time in forever. So, yeah, I have a feeling they talk to each other, but just like 90% of the other shit we hear about the program, it's stuff we generally don't hear until later, right? So
Yeah.
something tells me, yeah, they've had to sit down, and we'll probably find out about it about 2 or 3 months later when the season's fixing to start. And yeah,
Yeah.
he's
They're
going to have to
doing
earn
those
his
press
spot because,
conferences.
hey, let's be honest. Do you think Tanner's going to be willing to give his spot up real quick just because some dude that was number one in the transfer portal showed up on campus? I think Tanner's going to practice a lot harder now. He's not going to make it easy. And he's not going to make it easy for Dawson to keep him off the field, even if Mathis is good enough to play right away. So then what? What do you do with him? Do you line him up outside as an actual will or a strong side linebacker in a 4-3? I would love that. I would love to
Yep.
see him play that Terrell Farley / Ed Stewart type role from back in the early 90s, where you had a big, mean, nasty son of a gun coming every single play. He was either going to kill the running back or he was going to kill the quarterback. And because you had two snorting beasts on the edge, and either Wistrom and Tomich or, you know, uh, God, I, I, I'm not going to be the negative Nancy that a lot of people have been, or at least a few. Well, to be truthful, and I'm going to unzip myself a little bit here.
Ooh,
After Mathis,
careful.
yeah, I know. After Mathis committed, me and Justin from the Cuzcast had a little DM conversation on Twitter, and full disclosure, I had a couple of sips of bourbon And I just said, yeah, I'm glad he's here. I think it's great. Great. We got a good dude, but we had to pay a butt ton of money for him, most likely. And he's probably one of those guys that just wants to come in here and be the third down guy that goes in and gets all the glory, not knowing the full story of how his weekend went while he was here. So I was completely wrong on that side, most likely. And now, as I've heard his story, heard the story of how he got here and why he got here, I'm more and more convinced that this guy really wants to be a Husker. You know, it's like your mom and I were talking about today. My fear is that the transfer portal and NIL will mean that a lot of guys will come to Nebraska via the transfer portal to play at Nebraska, not play for Nebraska, because there's a difference. I know without a shadow of a doubt, no matter how much NIL money Garrett Nelson has gotten or not gotten, he's a dude that plays for Nebraska. And that's something that I think NIL and transfer portal might take away from even some of the blue blood teams out there that, you know, they might get all the big dudes coming out of high school, but if those guys don't get PT right away, they're going to be like, screw it. I wasn't here for the name on the front of the jersey. I'm here to make sure the dude on the back of the jersey gets his. And that's kind of my fear as to where a lot of this will go. But at the same time, it seems that this coaching staff has found them a guy in O'Shawn Mathis that isn't here to just play at Nebraska. It really sounds like he enjoyed what was offered to him, enjoyed how the school treated him, and he really wants to play for that end. And I think that's really cool. So,
and I wonder if there has something to do with to play devil's advocate to that. No, I do agree. I think that there are going to be an inordinate amount of transfers that play at somewhere instead of for somewhere. I do agree with that. In the case of Nebraska, let's drink some Kool-Aid here. I do think that there is quite a bit of pride that the state of Nebraska holds for their team, and that I'm sure in those NIL deal meetings that heads of corporations and businesses and all the you know things and everything, I'm sure they make it very clear to the players that I'm not just going to sign this check to you because you want to get a bag here. Like, I need to know without a shadow of a doubt. I need to not this isn't a meeting just for money here. We are going to have a character assessment meeting here. Like, why do you want to play at Nebraska? Let's go through the nuances of what the hell you think you're doing here. And we will decide if we actually want to pay you this shit ton of money real quick. Party foul, take a shot. But
party foul, take a drink.
Yeah, that's my, you know, devil's advocate to that. I do have trust and confidence in the state of Nebraska with all of the illustrious history that we have and the love that the folks in Nebraska hold for our beloved Scarlet and Cream, that we probably have a little bit more just right off the bat. This is just a guess, but I think that we probably have a way more put together methodology of weeding through potential prospects to transfer here in the sense of interviews, figuring out who wants to be here. And I think Mathis, like you said, was probably I mean, obviously he was on our radar anyway, but probably made a lot of people really, really happy with his responses. And I mean, obviously a business deal, it goes two ways, you know, like, what can we offer you? You know, like, how can we make you feel happy here and comfortable here? And I think we did a good job with that, obviously. But yeah, you followed me. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. I figured you went through the dang trouble to make a Twitter and exposing yourself to the seedy underbelly of the Husker fandom that is Twitter. So I figured I should at least be there.
The
I should really make my own account because I'm just going by Gen Red Pod at this point, specifically for the podcast. I should make my own, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it'd be better if I'm known as the podcast and you're known as the support system to keep me sane. I suppose. I don't
yes,
know.
and it doesn't make sense to have us both bouncing back and forth from one Twitter, logging
Oh
in and
yeah.
out of the same one.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
No, I
No
agree with
doubt.
that.
So I don't know if you've paid much attention to baseball. I haven't.
Nope, kind of lost interest.
It's kind of there's been a lot of games where it seems like they're close. It sounds familiar, where they lose by like 1 run to a team that's not even close to as talented as they are. And it's like, God almighty, can somebody please stop this freaking movie? I've seen it too many times. When will we get to the point where, it's back to what Husker, and I get it. The guys are young. Well, Gio and I talked about that the last time I did one of these. These guys are young. They don't know what it means to try to put together a college level resume. So they're learning. they're getting OJT in the worst way possible, but I think it'll make them better in the end. To go through the crap, so to speak, is usually how stuff ends up growing. But yeah,
Man, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm gonna pull one of those things you did. Just unzip. We're unloading here. There was a
yeah,
time during the preseason for Husker baseball that I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm putting a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of research into this podcast for football. And I have a lot of trust and confidence in Will Bolt and company to really make this baseball team sufficient enough to compete this year. So you know what I should do? I should go through all of that, all of those details, really dig into the nitty-gritty of this baseball team and really invest myself into it. And I am so happy I did not do that. It would have been the most disappointing, time-consuming. I wouldn't say it's a waste of time because nothing about Husker sports is a waste of time, in my opinion. However, there is a consumption of time that could be very well considered a waste. And that would have been one of those that would have just been a very disappointing amount of effort. So I'm thankful I didn't do that. However, it just goes without saying that, dang, this baseball season is just, it was a big nothing burger, and it was sad. But like you said, give them benefit of the doubt. They are a young team. They still have a lot of experience to go. And honestly, iron sharpens iron. So what better way than to get these guys? They took a big, giant, fat piece of humble pie from this season of like, we were Big Ten champs. We almost went to a super regional.
Yeah.
We went to a super regional. We were picked as a favorite to win the Big Ten again. And then you just get absolutely curb stomped by multiple teams on multiple occasions, had a bunch of heartbreaking close losses. And what does that do? Does that, if there's something that we might not have a very big resume to prove this, but there's something I believe about Will Bolt. He can take adversity and make it an advantage. And what better way than to galvanize his squad with, you guys got your asses kicked on multiple occasions, and you let yourselves down on multiple occasions. Do you want to take this experience and loathe and wallow in your self-pity, or do you want to take it and sharpen yourself and put a chip on your shoulder that, you know what, we're going to come back next season and we're going to put together a really, really good season. They still got a little bit of time left. Do they? Has this season ended? See, this is how much I disassociated.
No, they still got
have like
a few weeks. They're still, if I remember right, I think they're still high enough in the standings in the Big Ten that technically they could still go to the Big Ten tournament. But in order to make a regional or even have a shot at a regional, They have to get to the Big Ten tournament and they have to win the damn thing. If they don't win the damn thing, they're done. Their season's over. So I
It
don't have a
would
lot of confidence that would happen, but you
no.
never know. They could get hot at the right time. Suddenly base hits start falling. Suddenly confidence gets put into the team. I mean, they've had their moments this year where it looks like they're coming out of the slump. Like Iowa series. I think they won 1 out of 3, and the one that they won, they freaking won. They didn't
Yep.
mess around. So
Yeah, they had to call. They had to give them what is it called? They had to like call the game. It was like sportsmanship thing. It was like,
mercy
okay,
rule.
yeah, the mercy rule. It was like 12-1, or was it a storm? All I saw was that they only made it to the 7th inning, so I just assumed that they got the mercy rule. It could have been storms,
Right.
but yeah, man, like I feel like an idiot in the sense that I didn't even know that the season was still going. I assumed it did because I mean, last time I checked, which was like a week ago, there was like 12, 15 games left on the docket. So it's like I should have just obviously known that, but I couldn't pull that off the top of my head at this exact second. But yeah, nevertheless, like I would really love to see these guys, if I had like a word counter, I'm pretty sure from this last Husker football season all the way up until now, we have collectively used the word galvanize probably 50 times now.
I'd put the over under at about 50. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a perfect word for it. Cause it's like, dang, are you going to take the hits and let them knock you down and then use that as an excuse to stay down? Or are you going to let those moments where you're on the ground realize what you need to do to remain up? And so we'll see. I do have trust that Will Bolt can get some stuff put together for the guys and put a little bit of a fire underneath their ass, but we'll see. I you know what, man, bold prediction time. Here we go. I would not be surprised if in the Big Ten tournament, somehow they make it to the finals, but they lose in heartbreak fashion. They
like by
just
one score.
Yeah, by one score. That would be my bold prediction, is like they just shock everybody, like, oh yeah, Nebraska, they got fight in them, but they're nowhere where they need to be this year. And then they just start sweeping the floor and end up in the finals, and then they lose to whoever they there we go, whoever they play.
Nice.
Allergies,
Well
man.
done.
Allergies.
Oh, dude, they're killing me.
It was like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks
Yep.
ago, I had like an allergy fit where for like 3 days, it was like a broken faucet valve from my nose. Like just like I would literally have drops of snot, just like drip, drip. I've never had that before, ever. I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was taking Zyrtec every day, and it was like stupid how much snot was coming out of my face. Like it was like I didn't even want to go do work orders for residents because I was like, I'm gonna walk in and be explaining like, oh yeah, this solenoid under your dishwasher needed replaced, and there's just like drops of snot coming out of my face, and they're just looking at me horrified.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I was so scared of that. Luckily, I don't think it happened, but
yeah.
It sucked.
Well,
allergies have been kicking my ass.
Dude, I'm with you because of all times to schedule eye surgery is allergy season, when that's all I do is rub my eyes for like 4 months straight.
Oh, I'm sure that was torture.
It was like it felt like I had 2 giant eyelashes in both eyes right after the surgery. Plus, you had the allergies, and with that, and it was just, I was just like squirting Visine or whatever the crap that free stuff is that they gave me from the surgical center. It was called Blink, I think, is the stuff. It's really, really expensive, but it doesn't have sodium or any of that other junk in it that will really jack with your eyes. So worked really, really well. So yeah, that's why you're not seeing the glare of my lighting on my glasses today, because I'm not wearing them anymore. I had cataracts removed. Had lenses put in. It's amazing what I can see now. Though I have to say, about 2 days after the surgery, I walked in the bathroom, saw myself in the mirror, and I was wondering if it was possible they could put the cataracts back in. Because holy shit, I thought this, looks as dark as it does on the camera now. No, not in bathroom lighting when you look in the mirror. There's a lot more gray in what I've still got on my face than what I thought. And that's why I shaved all the rest of it off, because that was really gray. I can't imagine what it would look like now that I can see it. So, but I'm grateful. I am so flippin' grateful for what I can see now. I didn't realize blue could be so blue. I didn't realize that, tree trunks had that much texture to their bark for the longest time. I can see chipmunks and squirrels running across the yard, and I actually know they're chipmunks and squirrels and not little blobs that
Dogs.
look like turds with legs. It's pretty amazing what they can do. And I was seeing better 24 hours. Within 24 hours, I woke up the next day and I was like, oh my gosh, I could see the alarm clock. I could never see the alarm clock before. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, no more glasses glare.